Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make the crumbliest, flakiest cheese and onion pasties. They're a really versatile snack that can be eaten both hot and cold. So let's take a look at the ingredients you'll need for this recipe. I was gifted this organic homegrown onion. It's absolutely massive, so I used half of this, but if you don't have one, you just need 2 medium-sized onions. You need a little bit of salt to taste, some ground black pepper, we're using some English mustard, 2 medium potatoes, we've got a little bit of butter, about a tablespoon, 1 medium free-range egg, about 200 grams of cheddar cheese, 80 ml of double cream, and then we've got 2 rolls of puff pastry. So the first thing in this recipe is to fry off some potatoes. Now, I'm just going to peel them before I cut them and cube them into bite-sized chunks. The potato in this filling really helps to sort of bulk it out. And it helps also to bind the rest of the ingredients together really well. So the key here is to get small but equal sized cubes from the potatoes. Now what I tend to do is cut my potato in half, and then using that as a guide, I'll cut it about 1 centimetre thick. And then I will slice it then lengthways before cubing it, and it gives me equal sized cubes for the potato. And what happens with this as well is that they all cook around about the same time as well, so they don't take too long to cook. So you can see here we've got like equal size 1 centimetre cubes. Next up, I'm tackling this giant onion. In fact, this onion was the inspiration for this recipe. I didn't know what to do with it other than making a curry, and I thought I don't really fancy doing that with this onion. I want to be able to taste the onion in my recipe, so that's where the cheese and onion pasties idea came from. Okay, so I've cut the onion in half, and this is the equivalent of 2 medium-sized onions, and I'm just using a box grater to grate the onion down completely. So you do this with both standard size onions as well. Once you've grated your onion, you just want to grab a tea towel and place the grated onion inside it. You can use a muslin cloth if you've got one, it's probably better. And then you just want to roll it up and squeeze all of the excess moisture out of it. Now, you can do this over the sink, to be honest, but I'm just doing it into the plate for demonstration purposes. But you really want to squeeze the life out of it, because we want to get rid of all the moisture so that it doesn't make our pasties soggy. Alright, let's get cooking. So you just want to place your butter into a pot with about a tablespoon of oil. This just prevents the butter from burning. Next, we're going to go in with our cubed potatoes. So we just want to fry these off and make sure that they are cooked through. Once your potatoes have got a bit of colour on them and they've cooked all the way through, you just need to add the grated onion. And now we just need to make sure that we cook the onions so they don't taste raw. So you just need to let them saute a little bit with the butter and the potatoes for a while. Next, go in with your pepper and your salt. So I added salt to taste because the cheddar cheese, depending on the type that you use, can be quite salty. And so I like to balance it out. And then I added a teaspoon of mustard. The mustard really helps bring out some flavour into this filling as well. So then finally we're going in with the double cream. This will allow the actual mixture just to thicken, and when it cools it makes it easy to spoon into the pastries. Once your filling's thickened, you just want to take it off the heat and allow it to fully cool. So you just want to leave it at room temperature. You can either leave it in the pan that you've cooked it in, might take a little bit longer to cool down, or you can transfer it into another bowl, which will allow it to cool a little bit quicker. Once your filling has fully cooled at room temperature, you just want to loosen it up a little bit. So using a spoon, just give it a good mix before going in with the grated cheese. You want to use a sharp, strong cheddar for this so that you can really taste the cheese in the filling. I'm just adding a little at a time so that it doesn't spill out of the bowl and it makes it easier to mix through. I've listed all the ingredients for this recipe in the description box, so if you click on the downward facing arrow in the bottom right hand corner of the video, you can find the description. If you're based in the UK, I've actually used Cathedral City cheddar for this because I find that it has a really sharp, strong flavour. Let's make some pasties. So I know in America, some of my friends call these puff pastry, with a filling basically. So if you're not in the UK, then this is puff pastry. If you're in the UK, we're going to make pasties. Right? I tend to purchase ready-made, ready to roll puff pastry. So this just comes in a roll and all you have to do is flatten it out, that's it. If you want to be fancy, you can make your own, not a problem, but I just think this is a lot easier. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this into 4 equal sections. Well, I say equal, I should have measured it properly at this stage, but you get the gist. I'm just going to set 3 of the strips aside so that I can use one of the strips just to show you an example. I'm going to slice this in half lengthways so that I've got 2 separate pasties. You want to take a heaped tablespoon of the filling and place it into the middle of each pasty. Then you want to fold the opposite ends over so that you can use your fingers to press down the edges to make sure that the seams are sort of closed up. For each ready rolled puff pastry pack, you're probably going to get around about 8 equal sized pasties. So I've used 2 rolls here for this amount of filling. So you'll make about 16 portions. So the best thing about this is that if you're not making them immediately, you can freeze them. They freeze really well for up to around 3 months. I will include details in the description with regards to cooking times and temperatures if you are cooking from frozen. A little tip for you, if you are using the ready roll puff pastry, just make sure you don't leave it out of the fridge for too long. I used mine as soon as I took it out of the fridge, and what it does, it ensures that it's still cold, but as you start handling the pastry, it does become a little bit warmer, so you don't need anything to bind those edges together. You just need to squeeze it together and it will close up. Now that we've done that bit, I'm just using a sharp knife to indent a little A for the first initial of my name into the pastry. And this basically just allows for the steam to escape from the pastry as it's cooking. And if you don't do that, what happens is the seams will burst open because there's too much steam in it and the filling will just spill out into the oven. Okay, that sounded really dramatic. It's not going to go all over your oven. It'll just spill out onto the baking tray. I'm just using a fork now to crimp the edges, and crimping just allows it to seal better and it gives it a nice little design as well. So nothing fancy, just really basic but absolutely delicious. The final step is to line your baking tray with parchment and then place as many pasties as you'd like to bake onto the parchment. Do leave a little bit of room because it's puff pastry, it does puff up. The idea of it is that it puffs up in the oven, and so it needs a little bit of room on either side to make sure it expands nicely. And then you want to give it a lovely glaze with a whisked egg. So we're doing an egg wash on each pastry, and don't apply too much, but make sure that the pastry is fully covered. This gives it a really nice shiny top and a golden finish once it's baked. We bake these at 180 fan for 30 minutes until they look like this. How beautiful are these? And that is it, guys. You're ready to enjoy these delicious cheese and onion pasties. If you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe, like and comment, and let me know what other recipes you'd like to see in the comments. Thank you. Bye.